Hello and welcome to Social Work 3110, Diversity, Oppression, and Social Justice. I'm Dr. Christina Nikolova, and I am an assistant professor at Wayne State University. This short video is going to take you through who I am and what you can expect from this class and this course syllabus. I am actually born in Bulgaria, which is a teeny tiny country in Eastern Europe, so that might be the accent that you hear. Then I moved to Canada, where I did my PhD at the University of Toronto. So I am technically Canadian, and I live in Canada, and I just commute across the border each day that I teach in person, back when there was in person. My area of practice is family violence. Specifically the overlap between child abuse and intimate partner violence, and the policies and practices that either help or hinder survivors getting assistance. After my PhD, I went to Rutgers in New Jersey to study how financial abuse impacts women's ability to leave abusive relationships. So I am very involved in issues of economic justice. And as I mentioned, now I'm living across the river in Windsor with my many animals. Here is two of them in that cute little video. You can see that the cat is not always a huge fan of the lizard because she's very surprised by his little tongue when it pokes out. His name is Skink. He is a blue-tongued skink, and I am terrible at naming animals, as you will see. I have a pet cockatiel. His name is Birdie, because clearly when I was in high school, I completely lacked imagination. All right, let's look at the course breakdown. My apologies for a very, very long syllabus. Unfortunately, I have no control over that. There's a lot of policies and competencies that we have to now include in our syllabi, which unfortunately make them from the standard 12 pages to 30 pages. But basically, what this ginormous book tells us is that in this class, we're going to cover four major areas. The first is social work history, core values, and the issues of institutional discrimination that cause a lot of the problems that we see in our client populations. We're also going to examine within our own lives how power and privilege plays out, what experiences of power and oppression we each experience, and then we're going to analyze how social, economic, and environmental justice plays out in how we can contribute to issues of social justice. And lastly, we're going to address the issues of difference, inequality, and oppression that our client populations might face and what we can do about them. The class is going to be using the Just Practice textbook. As I mentioned on the course welcome page, I will be posting the relevant chapters each week. So if you don't want to purchase the textbook, you can use the scanned version from my own personal copy, as long as you're okay with the fact that it's got my highlights in it. Make sure you download the PDF to your computer though, because by law, I'm only allowed to post 10% of the book at any one time. So each week I'm going to have to remove the previous lectures, chapters, and post the new ones. This is an example of social or economic justice. So the policy that exists in place is there to protect copyright holders. However, in doing so, it doesn't take into account the economic reality of undergraduate students such as yourselves, particularly students in a city like Detroit. Therefore, my small contribution to economic justice is to provide this textbook for you for free so you don't have to spend the $75 at the bookstore. Other readings we're going to look at are the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics, and there will be handouts posted to the Canvas page each week. We're also going to have a weekly discussion that you will have to participate in order to get your attendance marks. by every Thursday, so 11:59 p.m. Thursday, you need to post an answer to the question I've posted on the discussion board. And by end of day Sunday, you need to post at least 2 replies to classmates. Within the discussion page on Canvas, you'll see the word requirements for both of those. Apart from the discussions, you're also graded on a reflection paper that's due in February, an analysis paper that is due in March, and a final paper that we've actually broken down into 2 components. One part is going to be a case study that you develop yourself, and that's due in March, and then the actual write-up of the final paper will be due in April. And then, as I mentioned, the participation component from your discussion posts. There are some class policies I do want to mention. The first is we're going to be talking about issues of social justice, and some of these topics can be quite divisive. I will purposefully pose some questions to you that are difficult to come to a consensus about. I want to listen to your thoughts, and I want to know what your perspectives are. This is not the kind of class where I feed you all the material and you regurgitate it back to me. No, I want to know what your critical interpretation is of the material, what the implications are for our clients and the populations that we work with. So make sure that any dialogue that's happening in these discussions is respectful to each other's opinions. In terms of technology, please make sure that you have access to the Canvas page, and if you do not, email me as soon as possible. The best way to get in touch with me is by email, so directly from your Wayne State email account to mine. If you send a message to me in Canvas, I cannot answer it from my phone, therefore you're going to have to wait until I get back to my computer. However, I keep my phone with me at all times, so if you want an immediate response, send me an email. My email is posted on the Canvas page. All of our assignments will be going through a plagiarism check. Plagiarism definition is within our syllabus, but I also wanted to highlight that plagiarism also includes the use of paraphrasing software, and if you end up using paraphrasing software, I will be able to tell, and then I'm going to have to report you for plagiarism, and then it's going to be issue that we all want to avoid. So please, please, please cite your sources and write everything out in your own words. You do not want the nightmare of a plagiarism allegation on your file. And lastly, the policy on late assignments. I don't want to see a single late assignment, okay? If for any reason you cannot meet any one of our deadlines, just send me an email. As long as the email arrives before 11:59 p.m. on the deadline, you have an extension, because I know that life happens. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We have responsibilities outside of school. We have our own personal issues that we're dealing with, and I recognize that. So if for any reason whatsoever, including just the fact that you needed to take a day for yourself, you're late on an assignment, just send me an email and we will adjust the deadline. Do not submit the assignment late and risk the late penalty. I don't want to assign any late penalties to anyone. I hate doing that. So with all that out of the way, I will see you online as we discuss social work and social justice.